Welcome back to Danis Podcast, everyone. Today, we're diving into a really thought-provoking topic, atheism. Now, we're not here to debate or convince anyone about what they should believe, but rather, we're going to break it down and really understand what atheism is all about. What does it mean to be an atheist? Why do some people identify as atheists, and what do they believe, or not believe, in? Let's explore all that and more in a simple, relatable way. So, first things first, what is atheism? At its core, atheism is the lack of belief in gods or deities. Atheists don't believe in a god or gods, which is often a major difference from religions like Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, or even Buddhism, where the concept of a higher power plays a central role. But it's not just about saying, I don't believe in God. Atheism can mean different things to different people. Some atheists are more active in their rejection of religious claims, while others simply don't think about religion much. It's important to know that atheism doesn't necessarily mean someone is anti-religious or against people who believe in God, it just means they don't hold that belief themselves. A lot of people get atheism confused with agnosticism, so let's clear that up. An agnostic is someone who says, I'm not sure whether a God exists or not. They might believe that it's impossible to know for sure, so they don't make a firm commitment to either belief. On the other hand, an atheist has taken the stance that there is no God, or at the very least, they don't believe in one. Now, why do people identify as atheists? There are all kinds of reasons, and everyone's journey to atheism is different. For some, it's about questioning the religious beliefs they were raised with. Maybe they didn't feel a connection to the teachings or couldn't find any solid proof that convinced them. For others, it's a philosophical decision. Atheism might align with their views on reason, logic, and evidence. They might look at the world around them and conclude that there's no need for a God to explain things like the origins of life, the universe, and everything in it. It's also important to note that being an atheist doesn't mean rejecting all morality or meaning in life. Some people mistakenly think that atheism leads to a life of chaos or immorality, but that's far from the truth. Atheists often base their moral compass on humanism, meaning they believe in promoting the welfare of humanity without relying on divine guidance. They believe in things like kindness, fairness, and justice, but they find these principles in human reason and empathy, not divine commandments. Now, when we talk about atheism, we have to touch on something that often gets brought up: the conflict between religion and science. A lot of atheists are also big supporters of science and the scientific method, which is all about looking for evidence and reason. This doesn't mean they're against religion, but they believe that science provides better explanations for natural phenomena than religious texts. Take, for example, the theory of evolution, which explains how species change over time through natural selection. Atheists tend to embrace this explanation because it's backed by evidence, while some religious groups may reject it in favor of creationist beliefs. And you've probably heard some of the famous atheists, people like Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, and Sam Harris, who have been vocal about their atheism, sometimes even challenging religious claims. But not all atheists or activists are outspoken, many are just regular people who live their lives without religious beliefs. It's also important to note that atheism doesn't mean people are completely without spirituality. Some atheists identify as spiritual but not religious. This might sound confusing, but for these folks, spirituality can be about personal growth, connection to nature, or finding meaning in life, without needing a god or traditional religion to make sense of it all. Now, how does being an atheist affect your life? Well, just like anyone else, atheists go about their lives seeking happiness, relationships, careers, and personal fulfillment. Atheism doesn't dictate how you should live your life day to day, it's more about what you don't believe than what you do. Atheists can celebrate holidays, form strong communities, and participate in life's big moments, without having to include religious rituals or beliefs. Finally, let's touch on some misconceptions about atheism. A lot of people think that atheists are all about rejecting religion just to be rebellious, but for most, it's about following what they believe to be logical and reasonable. It's not about rejecting the idea of something bigger than us, it's just about rejecting the idea of a god or gods. And another misconception is that atheism leads to nihilism, that life has no meaning. But actually, many atheists find meaning in life through relationships, personal growth, creativity, and contributing to society. In fact, for many, life's lack of inherent meaning is what makes it so special. We get to create our own meaning and purpose. To wrap it up, atheism is all about living without belief in a God, and it comes in many different forms. It's a stance that challenges traditional religious views, but it's also one that leaves plenty of room for people to create meaning in their own lives. Whether it's rooted in reason, personal experience, or philosophical inquiry, atheism is a worldview that has shaped countless lives and will continue to do so. That's it for today's deep dive into atheism. Thanks for tuning into Danis Podcast. I hope this episode helped clear things up and gave you some insights into what atheism is all about. Be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and stay curious. Until next